Hello.
Hi.
So you may notice we are in winter gear. We're in the U.S. right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is my partner James, in case you don't know him. And first of all, it's cold out. But second of all, we've been asked this question probably 4 or 5 times over the last couple days about how we got into relationship, how we chose each other, what's our story, right? Because we coach couples. And so we thought we'd just jump on here and share our story so that you know as well. And I think there's really interesting learnings in it around commitment and choice and freedom and the concept of soulmates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you'll notice that the title is Choosing to Commit. And those are very intentional words, the choice being, I guess, the basis of it. And then it's so easy, I don't know about you, but growing up, I had the idea of soulmates, or you're meant to find someone like that classic Jerry Maguire line, you complete me.
You're my better half.
Yeah, exactly. So you find this magical fairy tale being, and suddenly everything clicks into place, and story's over. There it is. When in reality, I think people spend entire lifetimes looking for that thing that doesn't actually exist. Totally. So when you move outside of the idea of a soulmate or some one person for you, and you take it a little deeper, I think when it comes down to it, it's not who it is or what it is or how they serve you. It's how much are you choosing when it comes to commitment.
Yeah.
And you'll hear from me in a moment. I'd like Megan to share first, but there's been many relationships that I've been in, but I haven't actually actively chosen the person.
Yeah.
It'll make more sense in a bit.
I love that. And if you're watching, just say hi. I see a couple people's names popped up. Hi, Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
Hey guys, it's great to see you. I want you to be part of the conversation too. So just let us know that you're watching and if any questions come up and what your story is too. Yeah, and I love, to James's point, like there's so much in this cultural myth, and like, I don't know about you, but I grew up with Disney princess movies, and they're like, Sleeping Beauty, she's asleep until he kisses her, and then she wakes up and they live happily ever after. And I think even though consciously a lot of us know that that's kind of ridiculous, I think sometimes that subconscious belief lives inside of us that like, oh, I'll just wait until I find my king, we'll kiss, and then I'll live happily ever after. And it's not. In my experience, it's not like that. Maybe it is for you, but it's not for me. So what do you think? Should I tell them how we met?
Tell them.
Okay. So James and I met, and neither of us were looking for a relationship. I was like, I just want to be single right now. Like, I had been out of a relationship for a few months, but not that long. But I met him on the dance floor, and it was very intense. Very, like, I was like, the first night I met, there was like so many sparks. I went home and wrote like 3 pages about the experience. But we both agreed, we're not looking for a relationship, but I've been doing relationship work, masculine, feminine. So had he. So we're like, it'd be nice to have a practice partner, someone to explore with. So that was how we first met. You want to say how you were in that spot?
Yeah, it was similar, though perhaps I was more adamant. I'd been out of a relationship for a few months, but I think about 9, so a while, but had only started feeling totally clear of that relationship about a month and a half before we met. And in that month and a half or so, it was really instrumental for me in coming into my own fullness. So going through my mind was, actually, this is such a great space for me to be. I feel really expansive. I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself, about the world. And I was feeling more complete in myself than I had before. So my feeling was I really wanted a deep intimacy partner, but really not looking for a relationship at all. And I said that to you the first night we met. I'm like, hey, I really enjoy this connection, but you need to know that I'm not looking for a relationship.
Yeah. And I said, great, neither am I. Which was true, because I really wasn't. I was just, single, exploring, dancing. But then we continued to date and see each other, and I was like, whoa, I felt my heart totally in it. And I tried not to be. Like, I don't know if you're watching, if you've ever had this experience of like totally falling for someone and then trying to pretend like you don't really care so much. Like, oh yeah, it's cool. I'll still, go out on a date with someone else and but after about 3 months, I was just like, no, it's time to actually make a decision on this. because we've been spending a lot of time together, and I was just like, it's time to decide.
You actually said a few days after we met, like, I'd really like to spend every night with you. And I was like, maybe 2 or 3 nights a week would be good.
And that was like the raw form of the desire. It's not necessarily that I would, but it was just in that moment that felt true for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So then I go to Australia, and I'm doing training, and things have been going amazing. I mean, mind-blowing amazing, but still I'm in the space of I'm feeling really full. And I guess I was worried that by entering into a relationship, some of the fullness that I'd found would be restricted or taken away. Like it felt like an upward trajectory, and it almost like it would stop that. Though while I was in Australia thinking that everything was perfect, beautiful, talented, experienced intimacy partner to work with, life is amazing, and I'm still single, I received a really interesting message.
So I've been feeling this like, okay, this connection's going great. I love it. And like, I just felt distinctly like there was a fork in the road where it was like, we are either going to deepen what's between us or it's going to end. And it felt really clear to me that like our dynamic required more containment in order to go deeper. And I know that's kind of like a lot of jargon, but maybe you've had that feeling like there's something really sacred between you and another person, and that it needs a certain amount of commitment to sustain. So anyway, I was like, I want to be in a relationship with him. And I wrote out like, what does that mean to me? You know, does it mean monogamy, or does it mean something deeper? And I had like 6 bullet points about what commitment meant to me. And it was like deliberately leaning towards each other, like actively investing and trying to bring out the best in the other person. There are a few other things about what is actually commitment. And so I sent him a voice note and I said, hey, this is what I want. And I read the 6 things. And I said, and I want to be in a relationship with you. And here's why. And yes or no is both perfectly good, but it's time for us to make a decision.
Yeah. Such an interesting moment for me. Because here I was, loving my life at the time and not really wanting to go into a committed monogamous relationship. But on the other hand, there was this amazing human that had just totally was making me feel like more me, really. And so what I said when she gave me this ultimatum, it was an ultimatum.
It was, but it didn't feel like one to me.
Well, but both things are true.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably a number of people in relationship. It could be a man, it could be a woman, but I think it's very common with guys to not want to take that leap for various different reasons into commitment. So what often happens is there's like, oh, you can stay or you go, or not even saying that and being in it half-heartedly. So she chose not to stay in it half-heartedly, which is what I would have done at the time. She chose not to be resentful and quiet about it and weak, but she chose to show up fully in herself with love and give a choice. And the choice wasn't do this or then you don't get me at all. There was no flavor of that. It wasn't sticky. The choice was, I really want this to be a relationship. And if you don't, it's okay. I'll be okay. You'll be okay. But I see something amazing. And that was like a, because then I wasn't manipulated. I wasn't coerced. And the only way forward was to step into it fully or not at all.
And I think I see this actually a lot with the women that I coach, is this feeling like you have a desire and the man or the person with you might not be on the same page. Like he had said overtly, I don't want a relationship. And I was like, but I know that I have a desire for one, and my loyalty is to that desire inside of me. And he can be on board or not, but that's where my loyalty is to my desire over what he wants.
Yes.
And so I think if you're a woman watching this, my question is just like, is there a way you can invite him into your desire, right? Without demanding.
Yes.
But just be like, this is what and in that moment when I sent the text, I also had 4 girlfriends that were holding me in this spot because I was freaking out. And I was like, what if I lose this amazing thing? And they're like, we trust you. We believe in you. If he leaves, it's fine. There's lots of other men. Like, so I can't underestimate the importance of having sisterhood in this spot. Yeah.
So what I said was, I need time. Give me 3 days to think about it. So I took 3 days, and then I sneakily tried to call her back and say, well, I haven't made a decision yet. Let's just keep on talking, maybe hanging out. And she's like, nope, ain't having none of that, which is the perfect response, giving me no wiggle room to squeeze out of it. And then I called her back about an hour and said, yeah, I really want to do this. And that was the first choice. That was the first choice. The choice to say, I choose to be with you and not with other people. And it was a choice given freely, uncoerced by her and by me. That was super important. Just to compare it to previous times in my relationship, where I felt like a relationship to me has happened by the natural order of things. It reminds me a little bit how I talk about school, like you go to primary school, high school, and then just college, because that's the next thing, instead of actually choosing to go there. That's what previous relationship had felt like. I like, that's just what happened, so that's what I did. Where in this case, the first choice was there, and it was very, very clear. That was only the first choice, though.
Yeah. And I just want to put a marker on that. He is free to choose, right? So a lot of the men that we coach has this fear. They don't want to commit because they're like, I don't want to lose my freedom.
Yeah.
And I would say it's making a choice to commit is an exercise of freedom.
Yes.
Because you're freely choosing to invest in this person. So, anything you'd say on that? The fear of losing freedom?
Yeah, it's a misnomer that Megan's actually, my relationship has actually helped me understand, in that freedom is not what we think it is. I think there's, it's like the piano playing thing. It's just the best analogy that I can think of. It's such a good one. It's like if you've never played the piano and you sit at the piano and say, play whatever you like, you're actually free to do any combination of any keys, more so than a pianist, because you have no constraints about music. And then you take someone that's been committed, taken away their freedom by the time invested for playing the piano for 20 years, and put them down in front of the piano. Two very different tunes come out. Now, the pianist that's been playing for 20 years has had less freedom because they had to commit to learning how to play the piano. But the music that comes from it is of such a different quality and caliber. And suddenly they have freedom to improvise this beautiful tune. So it can be like my freedom from being with whoever I want to is restricted, which in one sense is true, just like the time spent learning the piano. But what comes out of it when it is committed is a totally different form of freedom. And what we both agree is a deeper and more beautiful tune.
Yeah. I think there's a certain level of depth that you can't reach with another person without that kind of commitment and sacrifice. Well,
I think there's 2 more choices we need to think about.
2 more?
Yeah.
Oh, what are the other 2?
I think there's 2 more choices. The second choice for me came a few months later.
Oh.
I forget where we were exactly. But it was a choice from choosing than choosing to be in a relationship forever, which is one we joke around with a lot, actually.
I said something like, oh yeah, I love you right now. Or I'll be with you for right now.
Yes.
And, that's just how my mind works. I was like, I don't know what the future is going to hold. I'm with you right now.
I totally love and commit to you
right now.
Parentheses. And I totally called her out on it. Because it's true in one sense. We have no idea what next year is going to bring, the year after or 10 years from that. But that's a different thing. It's like, I love you fully, completely, parentheses, right now, is very different from having the faith and bravery and trust to fully commit, not knowing what's going to happen. It
was a little backdoor.
Yeah.
As you're going through this process of committing to another person, it's super scary.
Yes.
By the way, if you're listening, just let us know if you can relate to this. It'd be great to hear from some people. But it's super scary, and so it's very tempting to keep a couple back doors open.
Totally.
Maybe you still text your ex, or maybe you still flirt with the barista, or maybe you're like, I love you right now.
Yeah.
Instead of jumping in with 2 feet.
That's true. And as long as that back door is there, at least for me in the previous relationships, it always felt like I had one foot out that back door. It meant that I really couldn't give myself fully, which means I couldn't open my partner fully. So
it limits the depth you can go.
Yeah.
The back doors do.
Totally. So that was the second choice. And I think the final choice is every day.
Yeah,
Right?
it's true.
It's choosing, once you've made that commitment, to be like, there are going to be days when you piss me off more than any person in the world.
Aw, I'm so honored.
That make you angry and frustrated, and all of the other beautiful things. But I would say the bigger self relationship with a capital R, is on the days like that, choosing some way to lean in.
Yeah, I think in every moment, in every decision, you're either moving towards your partner or away from your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Every action, every decision, every word. And so commitment to me is the conscious choice to, as much as you can, I know we will get triggered and we will whatever, but as much as we can, continue to lean in and like come back to each other, come back to connection, getting all the support we need to do that. So, and I just want to say, relationships are hard. Like, you know, a pianist, if she wants to learn to play the piano, can hire a coach or a teacher or whatever, go to school. There are very few places, if you want to have a happy relationship, to get that kind of learning.
Yeah. And if you don't get some kind of great model or coaching or advice in it, then your parents will be your advice. So ask yourself about your parents' relationship.
Do I want to end up just like my parents?
And I would just say, for those of you watching, kind of to bring it towards a close, is to ask yourself, like, truly, and this is the first reaction is the best one for this, by the way, don't overthink it. Are you fully committed to the person you're with? If you're with someone.
Or being single.
Are you fully committed to them? And if the answer is no, then a great question is, what would I have to let go of to be fully committed?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Well done, babe. All right. Well, let us know in the comments what resonated with you, what insights you have. And if we can help you with your relationship, reach out. We have space for one more couple that we'd like to work with. So let us know.
Totally. Oh, and I'd love to know those of you that feel fully committed and those of you that don't, if you're brave enough to put in the comments.
That is
just
risky.
That is risky.
I would love that too.
Maybe the first one, just if you feel fully committed. The other one, private message us.
Yeah, please do. All right.
All right, everyone.
Bye, you guys.
See ya.